without further ado, we are gonna get going. So I'm gonna start tonight with our chicken ranch burgers because they do have to bake. They take the longest. So we are going to, this is where the, I shared our Southern baked already. I know the picture I shared was onion rings. So this is the Epicure version, cleaner, better for you, shake and bake. It's gluten-free, so there's no breadcrumbs in there. The crunch comes from chia seeds and psyllium fiber. Both of those are sources of omega-3s, as well as fiber, so they keep you full longer. They make you feel full faster. The chia is awesome brain food. There are spices and seasonings that give you that classic Southern fried chicken flavor. It's going to give you that crunch that you expect in a deep fried chicken burger without the deep fried. So what makes it a Southern crunch ranch burger is that we are also going to use the creamy ranch as what is going to make the crumbs stick to the chicken. So we are going to throw 2 tablespoons of our creamy ranch. So creamy ranch is exactly what it sounds like. I know I shared that one in our Us versus Them, Why Epicure, the other day. It is creamy ranch like you know, grew up with. Dipping your veggies, pouring on your salad. It's one that kids love. I'm going to give a couple cracks of black pepper. And then I'm going to pour a little bit of milk to get that nice and stuck to our chicken. And that's essentially your prepared ranch dressing. If you want it a little creamier, you can use mayo and Greek yogurt so that it's a thicker ranch dressing. For these purposes, I'm just sticking with the milk so that it is just wet enough but not too gooey so that the crumbs stick to the chicken. I am now going to throw our Southern baked into another bowl. I know the instructions do say to use a bag and shake. I don't buy Ziploc bags, so I don't have a lot of them kicking around. So I'm just going to coat the chicken by sticking it in the bowl. So Southern baked, delicious. I should have shown you the ingredients here, but the ingredients are easy to read words. There's not a lot in there. They give you lots of flavor with none of the filler. And that is one of the best things about Epicure, is that it's lots of flavor and not so much filler. And people love that about our products. They taste like what they're supposed to taste like instead of just tasting like salt and sugar and MSG. So we're gonna throw the chicken in there and it's nice and coated. I'm actually using our quarter sheet pan and the quarter sheet pan bacon roll. So this is a silicone liner that covers your pan so that it stays nice and clean, and it's super easy cleanup because all of the juices will stay on the silicone liner. So you just take and you can scrape the juices into your compost bin and easy cleanup. The bacon roll and the sheet pan come in a full size as well. So this is the quarter and then there is the full size. I'm just baking the chicken. I'm not doing fries or anything with it tonight, so I don't need the full-size pan. The quarter sheet pan is going to fit all of our chicken on there, no problem. I have cut our breasts in half here because the girls are still fairly little and we're going to make these, I mean, if you see, these are perfect chicken burger size burgers for putting on a bun, eating with the girls. If you wanted to do the full breast and just cut them in half once they're cooked, I also was being mindful of time because I'm cooking live for you guys. Cutting the breasts in half means they're going to cook faster so that I can get everything done while you're watching and you don't have to hang around for 100 years waiting for my chicken to cook. That was also part of my thinking. So we have a couple more boobs to go in there. The one package of the Southern Baked is probably enough for all of our breasts here. We have 4 full-size chicken breasts that are cut into like 8 cutlets basically. And I would say that we will use the whole pack of Southern Baked to do the 4 breasts. It's about 2 pounds of chicken, I think. You get 3 packages of the Southern Baked for $15. So if you think in a price breakdown in that regard, 1 package is, there will be leftovers, I hope. I mean, there's 6 of us. We eat like a family of 8 because the 2 oldest girls eat as much as I do. There might not be leftovers, but even then, at $15 for the 3, it's $5 for 1 pack. You split that between the 6 of us. It's pretty reasonable price-wise for budgeting a family meal plan. Again, if you have a smaller family than I do, most people do, you can really see the price savings by, we call it cook once, eat twice. And you can make enough in 1 cooking session to have food for tonight's dinner, tomorrow's lunches, and probably another lunch during the week. And that's where the meal prep gurus really come in and encourage that cooking everything in 1 big session, and then you can portion it out so you have lots of options throughout the week. That's another great way to save time and money. If everything is cooked and prepped and ready to go, you're more likely to eat it. So in non-COVID times, so there's our chicken coated and ready to go. I'm going to throw that in the oven. It's at 375 and we're going to let that cook for about 20 minutes. And we're going to do everything else while that cooks. Anyway, in pre-COVID times when you were actually, commuting to a job, having food in the fridge ready to go for lunches is one of the best ways to cut down on food waste and food cost. If you do like a meal prep Sunday or a meal prep Monday or meal prep Wednesday, if that's the day of the week that works for you, and you get at least 4 days worth of food ready to go, cut up your fruit and veggies, have your protein cooked and ready to be added to, whether it's salads or wraps or fajitas or any of the options, that you're more likely to eat it if it's ready to use and prepare the rest quickly. And it means that if you have those lunch options in the fridge, you're less likely to be stopping at a drive-thru or ordering something in, skip the dishes, whatever. Awesome ways to cut down on food cost and food waste. So with our Rancho burgers, we are going to have creamy potato salad. This is one of the new products this summer, and it is super delish. This is our 2nd jar since the 1st of May. Again, I am getting paid to teach cooking classes while I make dinner for our family. So we're cooking this stuff, we're eating this stuff. It's really good. I am using the multi-purpose steamer tonight to cook the potatoes. And then we are going to add the creamy bacon dressing to the potatoes once they're done. So I have cut up, these are just baby potatoes. If you don't have fresh baby potatoes, you can cut up big potatoes. Just cut them into bite-sized pieces, because we're using them for potato salad. You don't want big, huge, massive chunks that are too hard to eat. So I have cut into bite-sized pieces and rinsed with hot water just to get some of the starch off. When you're using the multi-purpose steamer, so this is one of my favorite things. And if you watched the videos that I shared the other day, you hopefully learned a little bit about them. So food grade silicone is what this is made of. Is essentially, I'm gonna throw a chemistry lesson at you, the same as glass. It is silica and oxygen. Those are the 2 elements that are bonded together to make, whether it's glass or silicone. So in glass, the way that they are bonded, it is a solid. When we make food grade silicone, it is a solid, but it is a flexible, pliable solid. That is the only difference in the chemical composition of food grade silicone compared to glass. No plastic in here. And this is what we love about this. This was a product that was in development for almost 3 years with our product development team to get it absolutely right so that it did what we wanted it to do. It was made out of the material that we wanted it made of. I'm not here to convert non-microwave cooks into microwave cooks, just so. Don't worry about that. If you are not a microwave cook, This is still usable in your oven. So it's just like the mat that is under the chicken in there. It is the exact same material. It can be used in the oven up to 450. Just don't put it under the broiler. It will melt and warp and it's not good. But it can be used in there like you use your Corningware and your lasagna pans. It's just way more lightweight. It does still get hot, so if you are using it in the microwave, or sorry, in the oven to do like a lasagna or a shepherd's pie, baked mac and cheese, you will need oven mitts to take it out. It does still get hot in there. The time saving, so the raw to ready in 20 minutes cookbook, the time saving does come from the microwave. So you're not going to be able to make a lasagna in this in the oven in 10 or 12 minutes, but you can still make lasagna in this. It's going to still take you about the 30 to 35 minutes in there. It's just way easier to clean up. So when I do a baked mac and cheese, I will cook the pasta in here in the microwave. So it's 15 minutes. You throw the dry pasta, the water, stick the tray on top, put it in the microwave, 15 minutes, and your macaroni is cooked. Drain the water off, put it back into the same steamer. Add your creamy cheese sauce. So I use our mac and cheese mix and make a creamy cheese sauce. Start with a roux, add this cheese sauce in, make a nice gooey cheese sauce, mix that with your macaroni, cover with shredded cheese, and then bake it. You bake it in the oven in the same thing. When it's all done, the crispy cheese on top is crispy and delicious, but it is not crispy on the edges. You can throw this into the dishwasher. So we boiled the pasta. We then put the pasta back in, put the cheese sauce on, baked it in the oven, and then threw it in the dishwasher. One pan, one mess, no scrubbing, no crunchy cheese. Crunchy cheese deliciousness to eat, but not on the sides of your pan. Today, we are going to use the steamer for its time saving. So we are going to cook the baby potatoes in here so that they are fork tender and ready to be thrown into a potato salad in about 6.5 minutes. So when you put the lid on, you will see it has these steam holes in it. You want them in the opposite direction to the handles. So the handles are wider. They do say Epicure right on them. You'll know that's how you're going to grab it. And the idea is that means the lid is on in the right direction so that it seals around the edges, and that's how it works as a steamer. So no added water, no added fat is required. That people love that too. No added fat. So there is nothing else added to your potatoes, your chicken, anything if you don't want the added fat. Fat and I are friends. Fat doesn't make you fat. Sugar makes you fat. But you got to eat the right kind of fats. That's my culinary and nutrition stuff. If you want to learn more about that, ask me questions later, I promise. But you don't need to add water. So the only water that's in here is whatever is left from when I rinsed the potatoes, but I did drain them completely. So they're just slightly moist from being rinsed. We're going to throw them in the steamer or in the microwave. I'm going to give them 7 minutes and they should be fork tender and ready to go. So while they're cooking, we're going to make the dressing. So the dressing, we're using 2 tablespoons of the creamy coleslaw mix, and we're also using our Better Than Bacon. So this is made with pinto beans. There's no soy. It's delicious. It has nutritional yeast. There's no caramel color. There's no MSG. There's no canola oil. It's just better than bacon, and it's way better than any other fake bacon out there. We're going to mix 2 tablespoons of the creamy dressing mix with things I threw on the floor. Good news. I have another. Half a cup of Greek yogurt. If you want, the instructions on the jar actually say 1/4 cup of Greek yogurt and 1/4 cup of mayonnaise. I don't have any mayonnaise made right now, so I'm just using full-on Greek yogurt. I find that it gives it a really creamy flavor, but mayo will add a little bit of saltiness and a little bit of that fatty flavor on your tongue. So if you have mayo, use mayo. If you don't have, just use full Greek yogurt. So 2 tablespoons of the dressing mix. 1, 2. I'm not going to tell you too much about this spoon and get you excited about it because it's currently out of stock, but I do love this spoon. It's our 4-in-1 spoon. Tablespoon, teaspoon, a 1/2 teaspoon, and a 1/4 teaspoon. It's your 4 most common measures in 1 spoon that fits into every jar and fits nicely in your drawer and doesn't make a giant mess. We also want 2 tablespoons, actually I think it's only 1 tablespoon of the Better Than Bacon. Oh no, it's 2. 2 tablespoons better than bacon. Suddenly this bowl is getting very full. I'm using one of our 1 cup prep bowls. I probably should have used the 4 cup prep bowl. The prep bowls come in a set of 4. They are 1 cup and the measurements are actually right on the sides. They come with silicone lids, they're stackable. We do also have the 4 cup, which is a significantly bigger bowl, which is probably what I should have used. We also want 1 tablespoon of the sweet and spicy mustard. This gives your dressing a little bit of tang, but not too much. If you hate mustard, don't add it, but I like that it gives just that little bit of extra flavor. So we're gonna throw a tablespoon of that in, and then we're going to stir without spilling the better than bacon all over the kitchen. But here's the good news. I'm making a mess of my own kitchen instead of yours. So even if I do make a mess, it's just me cleaning up. And I'm still getting paid to make the mess. So if you love to make messes, maybe come on down. Do what I do. Make a mess with me. I would love to have you. So give it a stir. I do promise when we're allowed to have, real live in-person events again, that I am going to throw the biggest, the loudest, any parents out there know exactly what that's from, party you've ever seen. And you're gonna come and you're gonna eat all my food, and I will make a mess of my own kitchen with you here, and you won't have to clean it up either, but you'll actually get to, be in the presence of other humans. It's gonna be awesome. So mix your dressing together. And so the beautiful thing about Epicure, because all of our blends are freeze-dried, that's how we don't use MSG and we don't need to add canola oil. So most spices, people ask me all the time, what's the expiry date on Epicure? How long will it last? When's it gonna go bad? The beautiful story is that there is no expiry dates on our packaging because our products technically don't go bad. They are freeze-dried spices, and that's about it. So what goes bad in your commercial spices? Hydrogenated oils like high oleic sunflower oil and canola oil. Those are cheap. They are super cheap fillers. That's why they get put in processed food. But they are hydrogenated, which means some of the bonds that hold the fat molecules together have a hydrogen atom added. So the bond is weaker, which means that the oils break down faster, which means they start to go bad, which is why, if you will notice in some of your commercial spices, after a few months they start to smell funny. That is the oils going rancid. The oils are in there because the processed food company put them in there because they're cheap, and they can then add bulk to your spice blend, and they sell it to you for a ridiculous price, and you get half of it is spice and half of it is gluten or barley, which is also part of gluten, and all of those oils. So in order to slow the breakdown of those oils, because the hydrogenated oils break down in heat and light. Most people keep spices in their kitchen above their microwave or their stove where it is hot. So your spices will break down very quickly because of where you store them and the oils in them. In order to try and slow that process, processed food industry adds sugar, salt, and MSG because, again, those are cheap, they are bulky, they are preservatives. Those added to your spices means, again, more of what you taste is salt and sugar and less of the actual spice, but they have to add loads of that stuff to keep the oils from breaking down and going bad. We don't add the oils to our spice blends, so we don't have to load you up with the sugar, the salt, and the MSG to stop the oils from going bad. So what you get is beautiful, strong, potent spices and herbs that taste like what they're supposed to taste like, and they don't go bad because we haven't added any of the gross things that go bad quickly. The only caveat to that, if you are keeping your spices in a trailer or a cottage where they maybe might get moist, don't do that. If they get moist because we don't add the anti-caking agents and the MSG, they're gonna get moldy. So be careful when you're storing your spices in places like a cabin or a trailer. so that they don't get exposed to excessive moisture and start to go bad that way. Otherwise, the reason you won't find any expiry dates on our packaging is because they don't expire, because they are freeze-dried. When you mix them with things like Greek yogurt and mustard and the natural moisture, or olive oil and avocado oil, depending on how you're cooking them, that is what brings the moisture back into the spices and really brings the flavor out in them. So that's our potatoes done. When we open our steamer, again, keep the steam vent pointed away from you. So we had them in there for 7 minutes. Any more than 7, this is going to get too hot for you to touch with just your bare hands, and I would say use oven mitts. Because I can still grab the handle, I'm okay. I'm going to give it a quick to let some of the steam out before I pull it right away, but you can see the steam coming out of there. Jen says she's totally here for my real life party with real food and real humans. I'm going to give them a poke with a fork just to make sure that they are cooked enough. Give them a stir around here. Because nobody likes a half-cooked potato in a potato salad where it's a little bit tender on the outside and still kind of crunchy in the middle. So the beautiful thing about the way that the steamer works is that most people's biggest complaint about things that are cooked in the microwave is that the outside edges are chewy like a shoe and the inside of your thing, chicken breast, potato, whatever, is still raw. And that was part of where the development of this product came in, is that you're not microwave cooking something. You are steaming the food in a microwave safe container. And so the way that the steamer works is that it moves the moisture of the food you're cooking around inside here so that everything is cooked evenly, is still juicy, and is fully cooked from the outside to the inside in the time that you cook it in the microwave. The other thing I mean to mention about the steamers, the reason that microwave cooking has such a bad rap, besides the chewy shoe texture, is that, one, in the 80s we called it nuking, which scared the bejesus out of people. And the reality is that the radiation in your microwave is less than the cell phone that I am currently using to broadcast to you. So it's not the radiation itself. The way the microwave works is it heats the water molecules in your food, superheats them very quickly, and then they jiggle against each other, and that's how your food product cooks. What became the problem was we weren't using proper cookware to cook our food in the microwave. We were reheating leftovers in old margarine containers. I am equally guilty, guys. And that cheap, crappy plastic is what actually made people sick. That's where all of the scary cancer stuff has come from, because we were cooking food in inappropriate cookware. And it had nothing to do with the microwave. The microwave got the bad rap because of calling it nuking. And so a star was born. I'm going to throw these guys in the fridge for the remaining 5 minutes on the chicken so that they cool down just a little bit before I try and add the dressing. I mean, I love a warm potato salad as much as the next guy, but I don't want it to be so hot. Those guys are going to cool down in the fridge. We're going to make the coleslaw. So coleslaw is a family favorite because it comes together really quickly. I'm going to use one of my favorite kitchen tools to make the coleslaw, and that is our 4-in-1 mandolin. It is called 4-in-1 because it has 4 different blades that give you 4 different types of slice. There's a 3.5mm blade, which is what's on there right now. That's for your thicker slicing. That's what we're going to use to shred the cabbage. It's great for doing mushrooms and peppers and even pineapple for a pizza. It is super great for things like scalloped potatoes, even sliced potatoes for your scalloped potatoes. The 1.5mm blade is the super thin. So I use that one when I made the quick pickles that we're actually going to use as garnish and condiments on our chicken burgers tonight. I'm going to show you the pickles real quick when the chicken comes out. And then there are two different shred and julienne blades. So we have the thicker julienne, which is a slicer, and we're going to use that one to do the carrots. No, we're actually going to use this one to do the carrots for the coleslaw. So this is the micro julienne, and you can see that it is super close if you compare them. This is double. So this is for your matchsticks, carrots and zucchini and cucumber for things like sushi and salads. This is for shoestring French fries, so sweet potato fries, regular potato fries. If you want to do zucchini fries and do the shoestring with zucchini, you want to sweat them before you turn them into fries, and then throw them in like an egg wash, coat them in the shake and bake, the southern baked, and then get nice super crispy shoestring zucchini fries. And then this one we're going to use to shred the carrots. So without further ado, here we go, because the chicken's almost done. We are going to do the yellow cabbage first, simply because if I do the purple cabbage first, then you get all these purple marks on the cabbage. So today I'm going to be smart and do the yellow cabbage first. So this mandolin has a nice no slip silicone grip and nice silicone feet. The feet can grab your counter, but they also have a hook here that grabs the bowl so that when you are shredding, you're not sliding all over the place. So, there's our chicken. So when I'm done with the cabbage, I'm going to grab the chicken out. I am flinging cabbage everywhere. So there is the white cabbage, yellow cabbage, whatever, nice and shredded. I'm going to pause for a moment, check on the chicken. It should be done. If it's not, we can give it another extra minute or two. Going to check the center. So be careful with your silicone baking mat here. I'm going to give it another 5 minutes. Don't use a knife to cut onto the silicone mat, simply because it is still just silicone. If you use a super sharp knife on there, it's going to shred the silicone, and that's not covered under the warranty. So you got to be mindful of that part. Don't cut right down into the silicone mat, even if you're doing pizza or whatever. Take the pizza off the mat before you use your pizza cutter, because you don't want to slice right into the silicone. So next step is the red cabbage. Cabbage is one of those like fridge staples that we kind of always have hanging around. They last forever. They don't go bad very quickly. They can be incorporated into all kinds of stuff. The purple cabbage, the girls love because it's pretty. It gives the salad this great color. They call coleslaw unicorn rainbow salad because the purple cabbage gives it that great color. So I'm going to pop this blade out. So there's a hole in the back. You push and the blade comes right out. And then I'm going to pop the micro julienne in, and we're going to shred the carrot. It does come with a guard. I do highly recommend for hard things like when you're doing potatoes or sweet potatoes for shoestring fries, use the guard, because you have to push pretty hard to get that even motion. And if you slip, good God, you could lose a digit or two. With the carrot, I'm going to just be careful, and eventually you get to a point where you're close enough that it's just time to quit, so that you don't slice your finger open. With anything with a blade, just be mindful that it's sharp. And if you are at any time not confident in your skills, then use the guard. It does come with. that's our carrot. I'm gonna show you the micro julienne. So it's these super cute little matchstickies. And that is your coleslaw shred done in a few seconds, maybe like 90 seconds. But considering what a cabbage and a couple carrots cost, you can save yourself tons of money rather than buying the bagged already shredded stuff. You can put as much white or purple cabbage as you like instead of being governed by someone else who put it in the bag. And a lot of the time, the bagged salads will have some kind of preservative thrown in there so that they don't turn brown and look gross in the grocery store, which makes you want to buy them, because if they look gross, you don't want to buy them. The other thing, most veggies, so if you go into the grocery store and you go into that section where there is the pre-spiralized zucchini or cabbage or whatever, the already shredded bagged salads, I believe there is tax on those because you are paying a service to have it spiralized, sliced, washed, and packaged for you. Or if you buy a cabbage or a bag of carrots or a squash and a zucchini and then do it yourself, there's no tax on food. So another way to save some cash in your meal planning and your grocery budget. Now, the last step of turning this into coleslaw is a little bit of oil and a little bit of vinegar. So the classic coleslaw recipe my dad taught me is literally just oil, vinegar, salt, and pepper. We're going to add a little bit of our coleslaw dressing mix today because it gives it a little bit of extra zip besides just the salt and pepper. For a full-size bowl of coleslaw, it's a 1/4 cup of olive oil and a 1/4 cup of vinegar. Oh, that spoon did not come out clean. Just seeing if there's any questions for me as I'm going. Olive oil is great for salads. It's a great one to eat cold. It's not super great for high heat cooking. If you're using oil in a stir fry or on the barbecue, I highly recommend one like avocado oil. It's way better for high heat, where olive oil is great to eat it cold. It gives you that flavor, but it burns really quickly at a fairly low heat. And once it's burned, it's not really good for us. So I'm using apple cider vinegar. If you want to use plain white vinegar or a white balsamic, you use the kind of vinegar that you prefer. 4 tablespoons is a 1/4 cup, just in case anybody's wondering on that one. All right, that's our chicken done. I'm gonna turn that off. I'm gonna do a couple cracks of black pepper. We're gonna do a little bit of sea salt, but not too much. I don't think there's salt in here. Oh, there is a little bit of sea salt right in the coleslaw mix, so we won't need too much salt. But the salt definitely does bring out a little bit of the flavor in a coleslaw. If you don't use any, it can be really bland. It just tastes like the oil and vinegar. I'm going to do a tablespoon of the coleslaw mix. The nice thing about Epicure's blends is there are instructions on all of the jars, all of the meal solution packages, including the sweets like banana bread and brownies and cupcakes. There are instructions on every single package. So if you forget something I've said, whether it's in a live cooking class or a virtual one like this, and you order something because it sounds great and you're really excited about it, and then you forget the recipe, there are recipes right on there. If you don't like the recipe on the jar, you can improvise based on the flavor that you're looking for. And there are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of recipes on my website as well. So you can go to there, you can use the search function and put in coleslaw, and it will bring up all the recipes that use the creamy coleslaw mix right in it. So there are always lots of great ways to remember how to use. So we're gonna give it a quick toss. Break up all the bits and pieces together. And that is your creamy coleslaw. If you wanted to make it creamier, you could use Greek yogurt or mayonnaise. I know some people prefer a creamy coleslaw. I love just the straight up vinaigrette, so we don't add anything else. But you can definitely, there are instructions on the jar for both a vinaigrette and a creamy dressing. And that is our coleslaw ready to go. So, step 1, coleslaw, done. Step 3, pull the chicken out of the oven. Otherwise, it's going to burn while I keep talking. I'm going to double check that our fattest pieces are cooked right through, because there's nothing more horrible than biting into a chicken burger and discovering that the center is not cooked. There we go. Done, done, done. So I'm going to set them aside while we finish the potato salad and make our cocktail. They've cooled down a little bit in the fridge. We're going to mix in our creamy bacon dressing. I love this little spoon. This is our mini spatula. She fits down into all the skinny jars, which is awesome. All of our utensils are coated in the same food grade silicone as the steamers and the silicone baking mat. They have a stainless steel core, so none of our kitchen tools are made of plastic, so they don't melt. Again, if you leave one on the burner, that's not a good idea. The grip and grab tongs that I was using earlier to coat the chicken, I use them on the barbecue. Again, don't leave them on the barbecue, but they're great to use on the barbecue. Our spatula and saute spoon are a couple of my favorites. What else do we have in here? So the corner spatula is one of my favorites for baking and sauces and all kinds of everything. The little spatula that we're using here gets into all the small spaces. We have the lifter, we have the ladle, and we have our saute spoon. So they're all coated in the food grade silicone. So they have that super flexy edge, which means that even your ladle works like a spatula. You can get every last scoop of even your thick stews off the bottom of the pan because it's got that great flexy edge. They are super strong because they aren't plastic. They are the stainless steel core, which makes them sturdy and heavy duty so you can lift stuff with them, but then flexy and great for sauces and edges. They won't break, they won't melt, they won't leach plastic into your food. I love, love, love our utensils. So there's our potato salad done. Dressing mixed with your nice warm potatoes. You can garnish this with fresh chives if you have them. You could throw an extra little sprinkle of 3 onion mix on there. You can add some more of the better than bacon to serve. There are so many options. So the last thing we are going to make, and then I'm going to give you a couple of tricks for condiments. We are going to make our cocktail because no dinner party is complete without one. That's not true. I don't actually drink that much, but it's super fun to show how to use some of our really simple things to make really fancy, tasty stuff. Even if you don't want to add the vodka, you can still make a summer berry lemonade, a virgin Moscow Mule with ginger kombucha and fresh squeezed lime. You can use our hibiscus bliss tea to make a super delicious simple syrup and mix that just with fizzy water from whether it's Perrier or if you have a soda stream. So this cookbook that I mentioned, the Summer Strong, has a couple of build your own charts. It has a meal plan and grocery list and, you know, build your own burgers. Summer strategies for making really great food, really quick, and build your own cocktail. Who doesn't love a list where the recipe includes the words, choose your booze? So, if you can have booze, go for it. If you can't have booze, this recipe is still for you. Just don't add vodka. We are making summer berry lemonade using the girls' favorite, summer berry sweet dip mix. This is freeze-dried strawberries, raspberries. There's a little bit of basil and a little bit of organic cane sugar, and that is it. 3 grams of sugar per teaspoon. So we use this in plain Greek yogurt. We add it to waffle mix, muffins, pancakes, smoothies, lemonade. I use it to make the simple syrup with the hibiscus bliss. It is a way better option than things like your flavored yogurt and flavored oatmeals because at 3 grams of sugar a serving instead of 20 to 30 grams of sugar for a flavored oatmeal or a flavored yogurt means that they get something super tasty at breakfast, but they aren't overloaded with sugar. So we're going to throw 2 tablespoons of summer berry dip mix into the abyss here. I have lost my measuring spoon. Found it. Okay, so 2 tablespoons of summer berry into the bottom of our jug. We're gonna squeeze in 2 lemons using our 2-in-1 citrus press. I love this thing. It's got a smaller green space for limes and the larger space for lemons. I'm using our ceramic chef knife. So we have the chef knife size and the paring knife size in the ceramic. So side by side comparison. The ceramic blade is super sharp, so it doesn't need to be sharpened, but it's not as strong as steel. So don't throw it around. It will chip like your ceramic countertops or your toilet or your sink. But because it is super sharp, it doesn't need to be sharpened. It comes with the guards to protect the blades from chipping or splitting. The other nice thing about ceramic is that because it's not metal, there is no oxidation reaction. So when you cut things like cabbage and lettuce, they won't turn brown on the edges. When you cut apples and pears, again, no browning. So you can cut up an apple and leave it out and your kids will still eat it because they won't think it's rotten and moldy. When you cut onions with a ceramic blade, there is no reaction between the metal blade and the acids in the onion, so you won't cry. All these really great tips here, friends. So we are going to cut our lemons in half. And then here's the other trick with the citrus press. When you put your citrus in, pulp side down into the hole. Because if you do it this way, I mean, you'll only do it this way once and you'll get your face full of lemon juice and then you'll be like, nope, that's not how that works. So pulp side down, give it a good squeeze. And then it is practically turned inside out. No pulp and no seeds down into what you're drinking or cooking. No giant mess because you're not having to hand squeeze it, whether it's literally hand squeezing or using one of those like spin around ones. Those are really messy. I love fresh squeezed lemon juice. I don't keep the gross stuff in the lemon-shaped plastic bottle. And you can see all the seeds stay in here instead of being in your sauce, your drink, whatever. And that's it. The girls did a lemonade stand last summer and we squeezed a dozen lemons in 2 minutes. So the lemon juice mixes with the summer berry and you can see how deep red that is as the fruit starts to rehydrate. And then I'm just gonna add some fizzy water. We have a soda stream, but if you don't have a soda stream, just use your favorite fizzy water, whether it's soda or Perrier or San Pellegrino, whatever. Throw that in there. And there is your summer berry lemonade. I'm going to let that sit, let the bubbles go away. So when we dress our burgers, we're going to use our big burger sauce. I made this one in advance because I did. So our big burger sauce is like your so much cleaner version of Big Mac sauce. You mix this with ketchup. I use a homemade version of ketchup. We don't eat ketchup around here. It's too much sugar. Use whatever ketchup you prefer, or just straight up tomato paste. I use chopped up dill pickles. You can use relish. Again, I don't like relish. It's just gross. So I use chopped up pickles. And then the seasoning and Greek yogurt or mayonnaise or a combination of both. Mix it together and it is like the best Big Mac sauce you will ever eat. We will also be garnishing with, we have pickled jalapenos, pickled red onions. Sorry, that says maple syrup, but we're repurposing jars around here. Waste not, want not. Pickled red onions and some actual quick pickles. All of these were made using our Quickles pickling mix, the garlicky dill. So this plus this makes the best garlic dill pickles. It takes less than half an hour to make them. So you use your mandolin to slice your pickles, or your cucumbers, sorry, your red onion. All of this stuff was sliced using the mandolin. And our jalapenos from a friend's garden last year. And then you make the brine. You boil it with the seasonings and equal parts water and white vinegar, a little bit of sea salt. The Quickles does say add sugar. I don't like sweet pickles, I like dill pickles. So we add this instead of sugar. You boil the brine for about 20 minutes until it's nice and hot. And then you pour it over the sliced vegetables. We've done red and yellow peppers, we've done asparagus, we've done green beans, we do regular old cucumbers, red onions, etc. And then give it about 10 minutes for the brine to cool down. Or if you really can't wait, 5 minutes, you can eat the pickles. They'll be warm, but they will be delicious. But you still then need to follow the proper canning process. These I don't can. I am literally just, when we are done serving them, we put them back in the fridge. There is no canning to put them up for like the winter. I make pickles now because then we can eat them now. So that is why I love the Quickles, because you can make pickles in like 20 minutes and they're ready to eat now instead of having to wait 6 weeks for your fully canned pickles. Don't get me wrong, canning is something I'm gonna attempt, but that's not what we're doing here. So all of our condiments and toppings for our chicken burger. And that is what I have for our Cooking Along with Jess today. I'm going to assemble a plate and I will share a picture of everything ready to go. Maybe even a picture of the girls taking a bite and enjoying. So as a recap, we have our Southern Baked Ranch Chicken Burgers. We did creamy potato salad using the creamy potato salad dressing mix and Better Than Bacon, as well as the sweet and spicy mustard. We have a basic classic coleslaw vinaigrette and a summer berry lemonade. I'm gonna make an actual cocktail here and cheers with you all. So, 1.5 ounces of your favorite spirit. This one goes really well with gin as well, apparently. We're gonna give it a little bit of a stir. And I also use, if there is lemonade left after dinner, I pour this into a popsicle mold and make the girls summerberry lemonade popsicles. You can use the summerberry to make them, mix with yogurt and throw that into a popsicle mold to make frozen yogurt pops. But that is our cooking class tonight, guys. Thank you. Cheers, and thanks for joining tonight, guys. Have a great night. Bye.